Night was supposed to feel like home, but for you, it felt like a beautifully decorated hotel room where you were allowed to stay as long as you stayed quiet. The John mansion was massive, elegant, and silent and cold, just like your husband. John never mistreated you physically, he never raised his hand on you, never stopped you from buying anything but love, warmth, affection. There was something he had never promised you in the first place. You met with him had been arranged 3 years ago after his grandfather insisted that settling you, an orphan with no family, no background, no name to carry, had been the perfect choice. Quiet, grateful, adjustable, replaceable. You still remember your wedding night? You had sat on the edge of the bed, heart pounding in your chest, finger nervously playing with the fabric of your dress, waiting, hoping, praying that maybe he would smile at you, maybe he would sit beside you and say something soft like, you must be nervous, but he has simply walked in, loosened his tie, and sat without even looking at you. You can sleep on the bed, I will take the couch. That was the beginning of your marriage, and maybe also the end. You stood in the kitchen that morning, carefully packing Jungkook's breakfast in his usual container, less oil, no sugar, extra protein, exactly how he liked it. Your hands pushed. When you heard his footsteps descending the stair, your heart did the stupid little thing again, thump, thump, thump. You turned around with a small smile. Good morning, he didn't reply. Just walked past you toward the dining table, checking something on his phone. You seller, still smiling. I made your omelette the way you like it. That was all. You place the lunchbox near his hand. Your flight is at 11, right? Yes. One word, flat, cold. You notice slowly. For how many days? 3. Your fingers curl slightly around your own palm. 3 days. 3 days without seeing him. 3 days without hearing his voice echo through the hallway. 3 days without. You mentally stopped yourself. He was already absent even when he was present. What difference would it make? Still you said softly, I will miss you. That made him push. Just for a second, then he picked up his coffee mug. Don't wake up at night. I might be busy. Busy? Work, meetings, deals. You told yourself that's what it mean. You always did. Joe hated corporate dinners, fake laughter, fake compliments, fake alliances. Everyone trying to rip each other off while smiling like best friends. By the time the meeting ended that night, his head was pounding. He loosened his tie as he stepped into the hotel bar, urging a drink without even looking at the menu. That bad. A so voice he glanced sideways. A girl sat 2 stools away from him. Simple black dress, her tie loosely, no heavy makeup, but her eyes, there was something strangely empty about them. He looked away. Yes. She simply smiled faintly. Same. He didn't reply. But when she ordered the exact same drink as him, um, something about it felt oddly sunshines. Minutes passed and she said, do you ever feel like everyone else has somewhere to go back to except you? His brows frowned slightly. What? She shrugged, staring into her glass. I was adopted, don't know who my real parents are, don't know if I have siblings. Sometimes I feel like I exist without any rules. Joe didn't know why he didn't just leave, why he didn't just nod politely and go back to his room. But he stayed, listening. She laughed bitterly. Sorry, I overshare when I drink. Silence. Then he heard himself say, you are not the only one who feels disconnected. And that was it. That one sentence opened a conversation that lasted hours. About loneliness, expectations, marriage, responsibilities. He never asked his name. He never asked hers. And somehow that made it easier. Hotel room 1:37 am. It was not supposed to happen. He would remember that letter over and over again. The way she had said, do you think we would have been different if we had real families? The way he had looked at her, the way she had looked back to strangers, to incomplete people trying to feel whole for one night. Just one. Next morning, they woke up first and immediately regretted it. Her arm was resting across his chest. He slowly moved it away, sitting over. The hell had he done? He ran a hand through his hair. This was not him. He was not that kind of man. He never. His thoughts cut over and smiling face flashed in his mind. I will miss you. He said titan. No, this means nothing. A mistake, a moment of weakness. It didn't change anything. It didn't mean anything, and you would never know. Back home, you had been waiting since 6 p.m., checking the clock every few minutes, fixing your hair, reheating dinner twice when the front door finally opened at 9:17. You rushed toward him. You rushed toward him. Your back, your smile was so bright it almost hurt to look at. He nodded, walking past you. You followed behind him. How was the trip? Fine. Did you eat? Yes. Oh, I made your favorite stew. I'm tired, Wine. Your voice tied in your throat. Right. You watched as he walked upstairs without even glancing back. Something felt off, different, distant, more than usual. Later that night, when he passed by you in the hallway, you smiled it. A perfume. You smelled it. A perfume so feminine, not yours. You're just talent, but you said nothing because people who ask questions risk hearing answers. And you were not strong enough to lose your only family. 2 weeks later, I have hired a new designer for the company. You looked up from your book. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. She will be coming over tomorrow for some project discussion. To the house? Yes. You nodded, trying to ignore the strange uneasiness in your stomach. Next day, 4 p.m., when the doorbell rang, you went to open it, and there she was. The girl from Busan standing right in front of you, holding a file, looking just as shocked as you felt. Neither of you spoke for a moment because something felt wrong, familiar, like looking into a memory you couldn't place. Her eyes stopped to your neck, your locket, the one you had worn since childhood. Her hand instinctively rose to her own, wearing the exact same one. Neither of you spoke for a moment. Your hand slowly moved to your locket, her fingers tightened around her. Same shape, same silver frame, same tiny engraving on the back, A and B. Your heartbeat started pounding in your ears. I think there has been a misunderstanding, she said quietly, her voice trembling slightly as she stepped inside. Joe appeared from the study and froze because now the two women standing in front of him were no longer just his wife and the girl from Busan. Something else was forming between them, something terrifying. Later that evening, you were setting tea down on the table when she suddenly asked, which orphans did you grow up in? Your hand stopped mid-air. Why? Her lips parted slightly. My adoption papers are incomplete. They only mention a facility in Seoul. But no name. You stared at her, your throat going dry. Mine too. Jungkook's eyes snapped toward you. You continued slowly. They said I was found near the entrance, wrapped in a blanket with this locket. You held it up. Her hand began shaking. I was found the same way. Silence fell heavy, suffocating. Then she whispered, what was the blanket color? Your voice came out barely audible. Blue. Her file slipped from her fingers because hers had been pink. Hospital 3 days later. You had not been feeling well. Dizziness, nausea, fatigue. Jungkook had taken you to the hospital after you nearly fainted in the kitchen. You sat nervously on the examination bed while the doctor flipped through your reports. Then he smiled. Mrs. John, congratulations, you are pregnant. Everything went still. Your eyes widened. What? You were expecting? Your hand instinctively moved to your stomach. Pregnant? You? A baby? Jungkook's shirt scraped against the floor as he stood up abruptly, shock written all over his face. But before he could say anything, the door opened. She stood there holding another file. Her face pale, eyes red. I went to the adoption agency, she said, voice cracking. You blinked. Why? She slowly walked inside, placed the papers on the table. DNA compatibility report, birth records, split twin documentation. And then she whispered, because you are my sister. Days later, you didn't know what to feel, happiness, shock, grief for the years you had spent alone. You had someone who shared your blood, your childhood, your identity. You laughed together, cried together, compared habits. You both hated coffee, loved strawberry milk, bite your nails when nervous. It felt surreal, like finding a missing piece of yourself. And Jungkook watched it all unfold, with dread pulling in his stomach because every time you hugged her, he remembered the way he had held her that night. 1 week later, you were cleaning the bedroom and something fell out of Jungkook's coat pocket. A receipt from Busan hotel stay, room 1706 guest, your chest tightens. Why would he? Then you noticed the date, the exact same day he had been on the trip. Your hand started trembling. Later that evening, when she visited, you saw it on her wrist, the bracelet. The one you had gifted Jungkook on your second anniversary, your vision blurred. Jung looked up when you entered the study. Your face was pale, eyes empty. You placed the receipt on his desk, followed by the bracelet. Who was she? He didn't reply. Your voice broke slightly. The girl you slept with in Busan. Silence. You laughed softly, but there were no tears, no screaming, no anger, just numbness. Then you whispered, "It was her, was not it?" He chuckled, and that was your answer. You nodded slowly. "You slept with my sister? Hmm?" You didn't fight, didn't argue, didn't ask him why. You simply signed the papers, one hand resting protectively on your stomach, and said, "You were my own family, and you broke me with my own blood." Then you left. 3 years later, Jung had no move on, had not remarried, had not even changed the house. Your slipper still sat beside the bed, your favorite mug still in the kitchen cabinet, your maternity reports locked in his drawer, until one day he saw you at a park, laughing, healthy, alive, with a little girl, curly hair, big eyes, holding your hand, his daughter. And when she ran ahead, a man picked her up, kissed her forehead, she giggled, wrapped her arms around his neck, and said, "Papa." Jungkook's niece nearly gave out because she was not talking to him. You looked up, met his eyes, and she said calmly, "You taught me that love without loyalty is just loneliness." The end. Guys, if you want a bonus part, then please complete 3K views, okay? And then I will make the bonus part. And शर्म वाली कोई बात नहीं है. And guys, do like, comment, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel for more videos. Tata, bye bye.